Leadership and the resistance to change in the church, a reflection on progress and tradition. In the annals of history, the concept of church has evolved significantly from its origins. Jesus' declaration to Peter, "On this rock I will build my church," marked the beginning of a transformative journey for the community of believers. Peter, a humble fisherman with a family, was far from the institutional figureheads we associate with the church leadership today. His selection by Jesus underscores a profound truth about the nature of the church. It is not merely an institution, but a living, breathing community of faith. As John C. Maxwell once said, "A leader is one who knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way." Peter exemplified this by his embodying leadership qualities despite his unlikely background. Maxwell's quote emphasizes the importance of leadership qualities in navigating the evolving concept of the church, echoing Peter's role in demonstrating leadership despite his humble origins. The essence of the church, as originally conceived, is the gathering of God's people. This concept transcends the bounds of institutional structures, reaching out to embrace all of humanity. The mission to go out to all the world and bring good news from Mark 16 is a clarion call to inclusivity, extending an invitation not just to those within the church's walls, but also to those on the peripheries. Reflecting on this, Rick Warren once remarked, "Our culture has accepted two huge lies. The first is that if you disagree with someone's lifestyle, you must fear or hate them. The second is that to love someone means you agree with everything they believe or do. Both are nonsense. You don't have to compromise convictions to be compassionate." This sentiment underscores the importance of inclusivity and reaching out beyond traditional boundaries. Warren's quote highlights the necessity of embracing inclusivity in fulfilling the mission of the church, aligning with the overarching theme of reaching out to all of humanity with the message of faith. Despite this inclusive vision, the church in many Western countries faces a crisis of relevance, with the declining attendance and a growing number of people disassociating themselves from the faith. This phenomenon cannot be solely attributed to scandals or the rise of secularism. Rather, it points to a deeper issue, a resistance to change within the church itself. As Ronald Heifetz once observed, leadership involves disappointing people at a rate they can absorb. This highlights the necessity of navigating change effectively, even when it challenges established norms. Heifetz's insight into leadership underscores the challenge of addressing resistance to change within the church, connecting to the broader theme of leadership in navigating the evolving landscape of faith. The resistance to change within the church is deeply ingrained, often stemming from a fear of upheaval and a reluctance to depart from established traditions. As W.H. Auden poignantly expressed, there's a prevailing sentiment that we would rather be ruined than changed, encapsulating the apprehension towards embracing transformation. Seth Godin's insight adds another layer to this, suggesting that a gradual crisis is more of a threat than sudden change, highlighting the danger of complacency in the face of slowly mounting challenges. Furthermore, the unfortunate reality in that prophetic voices are often pushed out, stifling dissenting perspectives that could potentially catalyze positive change. History bears witness to this resistance, as exemplified by figures like Martin Luther, who called for reform, were met with rejection and condemnation by the institutional church of that time. despite ultimately offering truths that were overlooked. The Kubler-Ross model, known for its 5 stages of grief, also sheds light on the psychological dynamics at play, illustrating how denial, anger, bargaining, and depression often precede acceptance, a process mirrored in the Church's response to change. Thus, the resistance to change in the Church is multifaceted, encompassing psychological, historical, and cultural dimensions, and addressing it requires a nuanced approach that acknowledges and navigates through these complexities. The Church has historically been viewed as a hierarchical institution, but this perception is increasingly at odds with contemporary values. The concept of the synodal church, as advocated by Pope Francis, represents a shift towards a more collaborative and inclusive model of governance. This approach emphasizes dialogue and participation, inviting all members of the community to contribute to the church's journey. In the words of Simon Sinek, leadership is not about being in charge. It's about caring of those in your charge. This shift in leadership paradigm aligns with the need for a more inclusive and participatory approach within the church. Sinek's perspective on leadership aligns with Pope Francis's advocacy for a synodal church, emphasizing the importance of shared leadership and inclusivity in guiding the church's journey. Similarly, the notion of the church as a family offers a powerful paradigm for reimagining our understanding of what it means to be a community of faith. This model encourages us to view the church not as an external entity, but as an integral part of our daily lives, where each member plays a vital role in nurturing and sustaining the faith community. As Desmond Tutu once said, "You don't choose your family. They are God's gift to you, as you are to them." Embracing this familial concept can foster a sense of belonging and unity within the church. Tutu's analogy of the church as a family reinforces the importance of inclusivity and the unity within the faith community, connecting to the overarching theme of embracing a familial paradigm in church dynamics. The resistance to change within the church is not merely a matter of tradition versus progress. It reflects a deeper struggle to reconcile the church's foundational principles with the realities of the modern world. Leadership in this context requires not just the ability to guide and direct, but also the humility to listen and learn from the diverse voices within the community. As John F. Kennedy famously remarked, leadership and learning are indispensable to each other. This underscores the importance of adaptive leadership that is responsive to the evolving needs of the church. Kennedy's quotes emphasizes the interplay between leadership and learning, highlighting the necessity of adaptive leadership in addressing the challenges of change within the church. As we confront the challenges facing the church today, we must ask ourselves, are we willing to embrace change in order to fulfill the church's mission in the world? Are we prepared to let go of paternalistic models of leadership and governance in favor of a more participatory or feminine approach? Mary emerges as an exemplar of virtues that guide us through the evolving challenges of faith and community. In the narrative of transformative leadership within the church, Mary's life story is punctuated with moments that illuminate these virtues in profound ways. Her virtues of flexibility, simplicity, and inclusiveness, virtues help us face the challenges today. Flexibility is vividly demonstrated in Mary's response to the Annunciation, where her willingness to embrace God's plan, despite not knowing its full breadth and depth at that time as a 14-year-old with an open heart, underscores her adaptability. "Behold, the handmaid of the Lord. Be it done to me according to your word," from Luke 1:38. This declaration is a testament to her flexibility, her readiness to accept a path laid out by divine will, embracing uncertainty with faith and grace. It's a powerful reminder for leaders in the church today about the strength found in yielding to divine guidance, even when it leads into the unknown. Inclusiveness shines through Mary's experience at the foot of the cross, a poignant symbol of her capacity to embrace the entirety of human suffering and redemption. Standing by the cross of Jesus were his mother and his mother's sister, Mary, the wife of Cleopas, and Mary Magdalene, from John 19:25. For us today, we too are called to stand at the foot of the cross, not seeking moments of suffering, but rather standing with those who suffer, willingly going out to the edges and margins of society where there is injustice. Mary's presence at this critical juncture represents a profound act of inclusiveness, standing in solidarity with those in pain and demonstrating leadership that acknowledges and includes the full spectrum of human experience, from joy to profound sorrow. Simplicity is reflected in Mary's ability to stand out of the spotlight, not because the spotlight is a problem, but to allow the Spirit of God in. After the early events of Jesus' life, the scriptures mention her less frequently, yet she remains a constant guiding presence in the early Christian community. But Mary treasured all these things and pondered them in her heart, from Luke 2:19. What is most important is not fame, power, or wealth, but a willingness to forego worldly ways to allow a deeper truth of what is most important. This introspective simplicity focuses on the essence of presence in the living moment, an experience of God which embodies the incarnation of God within. Her approach to leadership does not seek to go out into the world to make waves through dominance, but rather seeks to go deeper through the simplicity to find the true essence in life. Rather than seeking acclaim, exemplifies a leadership style that values presence over prominence, highlighting the power of quiet influence and the importance of the internal journey in guiding others. The journey ahead is uncertain, but one thing is clear. The church must evolve if it is to remain relevant and impactful in the lives of people. As Pope Francis stated, "I prefer a church which is bruised, hurting, and dirty because it has been out on the streets, rather than a church which is unhealthy from being confined and from clinging to its own security." By returning to the core principles of inclusivity, dialogue, and community, we can begin to address the resistance to change and more towards a future where the church truly reflects the vision of its founder. As St. John Paul II once said, "Do not be afraid. Open wide the doors of Christ." Let us take the first steps towards embracing change and renewing the vitality of the church, guided by the wisdom of our faith leaders. In this moment of reflection, let us consider not only what the church means to us, but also what it can become. Let us embrace the challenge of change, guided by the enduring values of simplicity, inclusivity, and flexibility. For in so doing, we honor the legacy of those who have gone before us and lay the foundation that is able to respond to the needs of the time in a world that is often changing, in a world which is sometimes chaotic and crying out for people who care. The call to embrace change, while upholding timeless values, reinforces the necessity of adapting to meet the evolving needs of the church, aligning with the overarching theme of navigating progress while honoring tradition. So, some questions for you for reflection. First, how does the resistance to change within the church, as depicted in historical figures like Martin Luther or the Kubler-Ross model, resonate with your own experience of change and adaptation within faith communities? 2. In the light of Mary's simplicity, pondering the ways in which the church community might be obscuring its core mission with complexities that are not essential, what steps can we take to return to the essence of presence in the living moment? And how might this shift in focus influence our approach to leadership and service within the church and beyond its walls? 3. Reflecting on the concept of the church as family and Pope Francis's vision of the bruised church engaged in the world, how can we balance the preservation of tradition with the imperative inclusivity and relevance in contemporary society? And 4th, in what ways can adaptive leadership, as emphasized by John F. Kennedy and exemplified by Pope Francis's advocacy for a synodal church, inspire transformative initiatives within local faith communities to address the challenges of change and renewal? So listen to the following songs and reflect on these questions. So pause the audio now and hit play on the songs. Please discuss. And a final prayer. Loving Father, architect of the universe and shepherd of our souls, we stand at the crossroads of history and future, where the echoes of your voice through the ages beckon us towards a horizon of renewed faith and an unwavering commitment. In the footsteps of Peter, the rock upon which you will build your church, grant us the courage to embody the leadership that knows the way, goes the way, and shows the way. Lord, as we navigate the complexities of our times, remind us of the essence of your church, not as walls that divide, but as a gathering of hearts united in your love. Inspire us to embrace the mission entrusted to you, to go out to all the world and share the good news, transcending boundaries and reaching into the depths of humanity with open arms and compassionate hearts. In the face of challenges that test our relevance and resolve, imbue us with the spirit of adaptability and humility. May we, like Mary, respond to your call with a willing heart, ready to embrace the unknown with faith and grace. Help us to stand in solidarity with those who suffer, reflecting your inclusive love that knows no bounds. Grant us the simplicity of heart to seek presence over prominence, to treasure the moments of divine encounter, and to ponder them in our hearts as Mary did. Let this simplicity guide our steps, drawing us closer to the essence of your message and the heart of our mission. As we strive to be the change we wish to see in the world, empower us to embody the virtues of flexibility, inclusivity, and simplicity. May these principles illuminate our path, guiding our actions and decisions in a world yearning for hope and healing. Bless our journey with the wisdom to embrace change, not as a force to resist, but as an opportunity to grow and deepen our faith. Let the vision of a synodal church, where every voice is heard and every heart is valued, inspire our collective journey towards a future where your love reigns supreme. As we walk forward, O God, keep us ever mindful of the legacy of those who have gone before us and the responsibility that rests upon our shoulders. May we open wide the doors of Christ, fearless in our pursuit of a church that is bruised, hurting, and dirty from being out on the streets, for it is in the messiness of life that your presence is most profoundly felt. In this moment of reflection and anticipation, unite us in a prayerful embrace of what the church can become, a beacon of your eternal love, a testament to your enduring, unending grace, and a family bound by the shared pursuits of your kingdom on earth. Amen.